Welcome to the Blind Spot. I'm Lydia. Today we're tackling a pervasive social trend that's reshaping our relationships, often for the worse. The rise of no contact as a first resort rather than a last resort for resolving differences. In an age where we are more connected than ever, it seems we are also more isolated. The ease with which we can simply cut someone out of our lives to go no contact instead of having a difficult conversation has created a significant blind spot in our ability to truly resolve conflict and foster resilient relationships. We're going to examine this modern phenomenon, the immediate impulse to disconnect and silence rather than engage and understand. It's a choice that often sacrifices genuine resolution for temporary peace, and it's an inconsistency in how we approach our deepest connections that demands our conservative focus. Let's begin by understanding no contact. Originally, this was a strategy championed in the therapeutic context for escaping genuinely abusive or toxic relationships. In those extreme cases, no contact is a necessary act of self-preservation. However, like many concepts born in therapy, it has bled into popular culture and is now applied far more broadly. Today, no contact has become a buzzword for simply ghosting, blocking, or unilaterally ending the relationship, familial, friendly, or even professional, the moment significant disagreement or discord arises. It is often presented as an act of empowerment, a boundary, or a form of self-care. But for a conservative, this raises a fundamental question about personal responsibility and relational resilience. In the past, society placed a high value on working through differences, on compromise, and on the hard-earned wisdom that comes from navigating conflict. Family ties, community bonds, and even long-term friendships were seen as things worth fighting for, not abandoning at the first sign of trouble. The progressive narrative, in its emphasis on radical self-care and the immediate removal of anything toxic from one's life, has unfortunately blurred the lines between genuine abuse and a simple disagreement. This approach often prioritizes individual comfort above the deeper, more complex work of human connection. It teaches us to avoid rather to engage. The problem arises when no contact becomes the default, when the difficulty of a conversation, the discomfort of confronting a different viewpoint, or the challenge of navigating emotional tension becomes a justification for simply severing ties. This isn't building healthy boundaries. It's often an avoidance of the very skills necessary for mature relationships. The blind spot here is clear. While no contact might offer immediate relief from stress, it often comes at a steep, unacknowledged cost. For the individual initiating it, it can prevent personal growth. True wisdom often comes from grappling with challenging situations and learning to communicate effectively, even when it's hard. By opting out, we deny ourselves the opportunity to develop crucial interpersonal skills, empathy, and resilience. We may also unknowingly carry unresolved issues into future relationships. For the first person being cut off, it can be devastating. Without explanation, without a chance to understand, apologize, or make amends, it leaves wounds that can fester. It denies closure and can lead to confusion, anger, and a sense of arbitrary injustice. For society, it erodes the social fabric. When we collectively lose the capacity for civil discourse and the willingness to work through differences in our personal lives, it reflects and amplifies the polarization we see in our public square. We become more atomized, less connected, and less capable of forming the bonds necessary for a functioning community. The argument for no contact often hinges on emotional safety. There's a conservative understanding that true safety isn't found in a bubble where all disagreement is banished. True safety is found in robust relationships built on honesty, forgiveness, and the willingness to face difficult truths together. It's in the strength of bonds that have been tested and endured, not in those that shatter first tremor. This isn't about blaming victims of true abuse. It's about recognizing that not every disagreement is abuse, and not every uncomfortable conversation is toxic. We are witnessing a trend where the burden of difficult conversations is increasingly abandoned, replaced by the swift, silent severing of ties, often leaving more damage in its wake than the conversation itself might have. Now let's look at this profound societal trend through a Christian lens. For Christians, the default posture is not disconnection, but reconciliation. The Bible consistently calls us to pursue peace and unity, especially within relationships, and to engage in difficult conversations with grace and truth. Matthew 18:15 through 17 outlines a clear, step-by-step process for addressing conflict with a brother or sister, a process that emphasizes direct communication, bringing in witnesses, and only as a very last resort, treating someone as an outsider, and even then, not in a spirit of silent condemnation, but for the sake of potential restoration. Our faith teaches us that God is a God of order and restoration. He doesn't go no contact with us when we mess up. He continually extends grace, justice, and an invitation to communicate. We are called to embody that same spirit. Proverbs 15:1 reminds us, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. This requires intentional effort and courage, not avoidance. Ephesians 4:26 advises, be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. This is a direct command to address conflict, not let it fester or cut off communication. A truly Christian approach understands that while boundaries are biblical and necessary to protect from true evil, simply avoiding discomfort or disagreement by going no contact is often a failure to engage in the hard work of love, forgiveness, and discipleship. It can be a sin of omission, preventing both parties from growth and reconciliation. The blind spot here is allowing the fear of confrontation or the desire for immediate comfort to supersede the biblical call to pursue peace, clarity, and reconciliation in our relationships, especially when it is difficult. Thank you for joining me today on The Blind Spot. Let's seek to develop the courage and wisdom to engage in difficult conversations, prioritizing reconciliation and resilient relationships over the easy allure of disconnection. Please consider supporting this video or audio episode by engaging directly. For more direct support, please visit patreon.com/theblindspottpodcast to view the details and choose your focus level. I look forward to seeing you in my next episode on the topic of profanity. Have a great day and keep searching to find your focus.